International Business and Languages is a 4-year Level 8 programme, a BA honours degree, that's delivered jointly by the Department of Languages in the School of Law, Languages and Social Sciences on TU Dublin City campus, and the School of Marketing in the College of Business on our city campus. We are hoping that by the end of this session, you'll have some insight into why we ask our students to spend a year of their 4-year degree away from Ireland, what the options are for you to do that, and what our students who have already done their year abroad just last year thought of the experience. I'm Chris Dixon. I'm the Head of Languages on the City campus, and I'm the Joint Programme Chair for TU965 International Business and Languages. I'm going to ask now each of our students who are here, who are students of the International Business and Languages programme, just to introduce themselves briefly.
Hello, my name is Harry and I'm a final year student and I'm studying German and Irish.
Hi, my name's Niamh. I'm in final year as well and I'm studying French, German and Irish.
Hi, my name is Katrina and I'm in final year also and I'm studying French and I did Spanish for first and second year.
Hi, my name is Toya and I'm currently studying German and Chinese.
Thanks, Harry, Katrina, Niamh and Toya. I'm going to hand over now to Dr. Susan O'Shaughnessy. Susan is our Year Abroad coordinator, and she's going to say a few words about what the options are for our students to spend their year abroad as year 3 of their 4-year Level 8 degree. Susan.
Hi, everyone. We have a number of options in our 3rd year. When people think of an exchange, they usually think of the traditional study abroad option. That's one of our 3 main options. So you can study abroad at one of our partner universities in France, Germany, Spain, Italy, China, or Taiwan. And traditionally, students will go for the full academic year. But we have other options as well. For example, quite a lot of our students go on English language assistantship exchanges where they work in a school in one of the countries, and that would also include Belgium and Austria. And we have the 3rd option, which is a work placement in a business, which a number of our students have gone on. And finally, we have a mixture of our first study option and work placement, where a number of students would do a study exchange for 1 semester and a work placement for the 2nd semester. So we have a wide variety of options for you to choose from. And I'd like to now ask each of the students a couple of questions about their experiences on their year abroad, which option they chose. So I'd like to start with Harry. Harry, what option did you choose? Where did you go and what was it like?
So for my option, I chose the English language assistantship and I chose to do that in Austria. It was a really interesting experience and it was, I guess, for me, it was nice to see the entire country of Austria. I've always been very interested in it, especially from like a geographical standpoint and things like that. It was something different, I guess, from everyone else who decided to go to Germany. Yet I still feel like I got a lot out of my year abroad and was also able to improve my language skills and ask for more.
Yes. What was it like being an English language assistant? What were the good and bad things? Were there any challenges? Were there things you loved about it?
I guess when I think of the challenges, I guess it's just a universal experience as a teacher to have those classes that don't go well. And that's going to happen, especially because it'll be everyone's first year probably doing that. But most of the time, I think you have a unique advantage when you're teaching English in that most students are really enthusiastic about learning it because they see the necessity, it's the language of globalization. They're excited to practice with a native, so usually the classes end up running themselves and your work becomes very easy. For me, the teachers were very helpful. They helped me coordinate activities. They knew what worked for their class groups, so I was able to ask them. So I was never, left to my own devices, although they did eventually, trust me to do my own thing. And for the pros, I mean, there was a lot of them. It was a relatively short working week. Of course, in the evenings, you would be planning your lessons for the next day and the coming lessons. Otherwise, it gave me a lot of free time. It's also a chance to earn money and put something on your CV in terms of work experience as well. And the best aspect is that you can see yourself having an impact on the students as they start to warm up to you and they get excited when you come in each week. For me, I was between two different schools, so I would be in each school every second week. And students would be excited to see me come in, and that would be really motivating for me. And it's not something to worry about either. I would have been, I'd say before then, afraid to do any kind of public speaking exercises. And that would include giving a lesson, but they act as a source of confidence for you, especially when you see that they're starting to get more confident in their speaking and they come to trust you more. They don't really see you as a teacher as well, which means they're likely to participate a lot as well. They don't feel the pressure of the classroom at all. And yeah, overall, it was a really enjoyable experience.
Great, thanks, Harry. Moving on to Neve. Tell us what you chose to do and where you went and what your experiences were like.
For my year abroad, I chose to go to Belgium. I worked as an English language assistant in a secondary school. I thought it was a really enjoyable experience as well. It gave me an opportunity to be immersed in a local community, so it really improved my French skills. Also, Belgium is obviously a country where they speak 2 languages, so I got to improve my Dutch language skills as well, which was great for me because we don't study Dutch in this course, so it was an extra opportunity for me.
Mm-hmm. And did you find anything challenging about being an English language assistant, or did you, like Harry, have lots of good experiences, or a mix of both?
I surprised myself with the experience of an English language assistant. I really, really enjoyed it. I wasn't sure going if I wanted to be a teacher, so I didn't know how the experience would benefit me. But as Harry said, the students were so enthusiastic about learning English. They really loved the opportunity to get to know a native English speaker. And for me as well, it helped me as a language student as well to see the different ways that languages were taught in schools and how other people learned. So I think it was a really beneficial experience overall.
Very good. Okay. Now I'll move on to Katrina. Katrina, what did you do on your year abroad and what was it like?
I did a study placement in the University of Perpignan in the south of France, and it was just a great experience. I did loads of different modules. Compared to DIT, I was allowed to be immersed in different modules and everything. So.
And did you find anything challenging about doing modules through French, or were there any difficulties?
At the start, it was a bit of a challenge because you're just in a completely different environment. So you're in a new college with new people and everything like that. So of course, it's going to be a bit of a difficulty. But once you get used to the timetabling system and you make friends in the classes, it all becomes easier and more natural to you. And I think it's great to have that experience now, looking back on it, because you can say you've done that. And I've become more confident even talking to people that I don't know, because you have to be like, oh hi, pleased to meet you. And once people find out then that you are a native English speaker, they immediately they want to be your friend. They want to practice sentences on you and everything like that. So it's just great to hear. I even miss it now, looking back, when I hear French people speaking English. I'm like, oh, I miss that, people coming up and practicing sentences and everything like that. So it's just great.
Good. Okay. And Toya, tell us about where you went and what your experiences were like.
So I had the privilege of undertaking 2 different study placements. So I spent my first semester in Taiwan, where I did an intensive Mandarin course that took place every day from 1 p.m. till 4 p.m, which left my mornings completely free, which was very nice for me. And then in my second semester, I was enrolled to Fachhochschule Aachen in Germany. I was only there for 3 weeks before returning to finish the whole semester online. But I can imagine that I would have had very similar experience as the people that I met in those first 3 weeks were lovely. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I was really grateful for this opportunity. Of course, I got to go to the other side of the planet, meet lots of new people. I was staying in an international student dorm, but I was tested every single day, being the only friend of the group that had Mandarin skills. I was in charge of ordering food, getting the taxis, absolutely every task that was required in day-to-day. So although I wasn't completely immersed, I was still constantly challenged, especially in the classroom as well. And then with regards to my German semester, I conducted half language modules, half business modules. The language modules were great, had lots of fun. The business ones were much more challenging. And I think if I had the opportunity to have been in the university, perhaps they would have been made much more easier when I could have maybe interacted with more students directly. But at the same time, the online semester for business did have its advantages because I could pause videos, look up a word, and then resume the videos. So I guess in a sense, I had a more complete understanding of the lecture videos and what was being said. Mm-hmm. But overall, it was an amazing experience.
And were there any particular challenges with going to 2 different universities and 2 different countries?
I wouldn't say so. I think I got to benefit from the best of both worlds. I think that a semester in each was kind of the perfect amount of time. By the end, I had made an incredibly strong friend group. I had felt as though I had seen the whole island of Taiwan as we'd gone traveling every single weekend. And I had, as I said, so many chances and was daily being asked to use my Mandarin skills to the most that I could. So although I could have, in theory, been happy to complete the full year, I was still grateful that the semester did seem as though it was the perfect amount of time to get everything that I wanted to take from the experience and then get to do another one. So I really liked the balance that it brought, and I was happy with my choices that I'd made.
Great, thank you.
Thanks very much, Toya and Harry, Katrina and Niamh also. Another distinctive element that's part of our mandatory year abroad for international business and languages is that students during their placement undertake a business project. And I'm now going to ask Dr. Anthony Buckley, who is the programme chair responsible for the business side of TU965 International Business and Languages, to say just a little bit about what the business project entails.
Thanks, Chris. Appreciate it. As Chris mentioned, my name is Tony Buckley. I'm from the School of Marketing in the College of Business, based in Angel Street at the moment. And we look after the business side of TU965. What is common to, even though the experiences of Harry, Niamh, Katrina and Toya all differed, they have one thing in common. They all were required to do a business project while they were overseas. So the preparation for that project begins really in first year. When we look at one of the subjects that the students do is communications, and we take them through the basics of the research process. Then in second year, we have briefings and workshops in preparation for the students going overseas to do their business project. And in that process and before they go, or almost as they go, we ask them to think about a topic they'd like. Chris mentioned earlier on, that topic we try and have them rooted in the region or the place that they go to. So obviously it's a subject or a topic that has really interested them in the business side of the course so far, and then tie it in, as Chris said, to the region or the country that you go to make a business project. So carried on over the year of third year. Whilst the student is overseas, they're appointed a supervisor to work with them. So they have an academic advisor, if you like, to work on the business project. And the project is actually managed through our virtual learning environment, Brightspace. So generally, each student goes through the same process, through the same stages. But again, what we're going to do is ask each of the people in turn to give us their experience of their business project, what they actually did, and back to the point, what they enjoyed about it, and what challenges they found. And again, just to bear in mind, when you do projects or when we do research projects, we don't know the outcome. So if we knew the outcome, we wouldn't bother doing them. So you can see again, it's a journey. It's a pioneering journey for everybody, and the experience is unique. So let's push on and maybe talk first to Harry, if we could.
Yeah. So for my research study, I decided to do a consumer research study, which meant giving out a survey to a cohort of younger people. I chose Generation Z, so my own generation, because I had a whole cohort of them at my fingertips. In my other students, I had 18 and 19-year-old students who I was able to distribute the survey to, as well as to other people my own age in the area that I'd met as well. So I was able to get around, I think, almost 100 responses from them. The topic I researched was, in my case, what influences green or environmentally conscious purchase decisions for younger people, what drives them, what social factors, what demographic factors, and so on. And for me, it was certainly challenging coming up with a topic, because I knew I might not have access to certain resources by not being at a university. I knew I wasn't sure about, from an industry standpoint, who I might be able to interview. So I thought, with my situation, it would be better to do a consumer study, and I think it actually turned out pretty well. I was able to get a lot of responses and get a result which I was proud of.
Good. And Harry, just in terms of the support from back at base, if you like, how did you find that?
Oh yeah, well, we were also...
Don't speak about your supervisor, just talk about the support, okay?
Yeah, we of course had plenty of support. We weren't in the dark at all when it came to coming up with a topic or using various resources. We were well equipped by the time it came to do our own independent work. Of course, while you're abroad, you can still use all the article search platforms, and you still have access to a variety of textbooks, things like that. So
great. Thanks, Harry, for that. I'll move on to Niamh, if that's okay.
So for my business project, I studied the cultural diversity between the Flemish and Walloon communities in Belgium, and the impact that this cultural diversity had on Belgian business management practices. So I chose this subject because we studied quite a bit on culture in our second year modules for management and consumer behaviour. I found it really interesting, so it was definitely something I wanted to pursue for my business project. I conducted interviews rather than surveys, so I had to approach managers of different organisations in Belgium. So I conducted 3 interviews in total. I used a mix of English, French and Dutch in my interviews, so that was a great opportunity for me to improve my language skills as well. And
great. Niamh, what was your overall thoughts? I mean, what just your conclusions from the project? You know, what insights did you get on Belgian business culture? Yeah.
I got an opportunity to learn a lot about Belgian business culture, and a lot of people think in Belgium it's just kind of a linguistic divide between the 2 communities, but there's also a lot of socio-political issues that kind of affect the relationships, and it was great for me to get an insight into that kind of area of business.
Great. Thanks a million, Niamh. That's super. Katrina, could we talk to you on your project?
Yeah, so I did an investigation into the influence of fashion on the consumer behaviour of students in Perpignan. So in second year, we did consumer behaviour module, and I was very, very interested in that and the self, because we also did a project in second year on the digital self. and we had to learn the actual self, the ideal self. And that was what I was interested in all along. So when I was given the opportunity then to do this project, I immediately thought I'd love to learn more about the consumer behavior. Great. Did you do interviews or a survey, or how did you do your primary research? Yeah, I did interviews. So I looked at all the different kinds of primary research, and I found the interviews were going to be the best opportunity. Most appropriate information. Yeah. Very good. Thanks for that, Niamh. Toya, how about you?
So I undertook a motivation study inspired by the trends of brain drain experienced by Taiwan. And so I looked into what drives students as they leave college and enter the workforce. And I, for that, conducted interviews. And I was fortunate to have made a local friend, Taiwanese friend, who was able to help me in finding candidates for that. Because I was going to conduct them through English, and she helped me a lot with that. Fantastic. And did you do a survey or interviews? They were interviews. They were interviews. And again, just curious, obviously, from a cultural perspective, what difference did you find between Taiwanese students wanting to go into employment and maybe European or Irish-based students? Well, a topic of, I guess, Taiwanese patriotism did come up. A lot of them recognize China as a kind of domineering force and were quite happy to leave purely based on the money aspects, financial aspects, whereas the other half were pretty much adamant that they were never to do that and would remain at home regardless of the job prospects.
Great, very, very interesting. So again, just thanks a million, Toya, for that. As you can see, the projects are as diverse as the students in the class. And as Harry said, one of the issues we have is obviously to get you we get the student to pick a topic that they're interested in. This is a project you're going to have to live with for nearly a year. So if you're enthusiastic and if you enjoy even with all the challenges, it's a voyage of discovery. And we every year we get back totally different projects from everybody. And in most cases, people have a great experience working on the project, difficult and all as it can be sometimes. So, Chris, I'll hand it over back to you if that's okay.
Thanks, Tony. And again, thanks to all of the students for your input. I hope that you found this session to be interesting. If you have any specific questions that you would like to ask, there's the opportunity for you to do so through the various fora that are operating in the context of the Open Day. I'd like to thank you for watching this session. I'd like to thank all of the students and my colleagues who've participated, but I'd like to give the last word to the students, and I'm sure for most of you watching, their views on the year abroad will mean an awful lot more to you than the views of myself and my colleagues who teach on the programme. So if I could ask, just by way of rounding off, if each of the students could just tell us in a few words how they would sum up their year abroad experience. Harry?
To summarise it, say a unique, intriguing and interesting experience full of positive challenges that will not overwhelm you.
Thanks, Harry. Thanks for that. Niamh?
For me, the year abroad was an unforgettable experience that gave me opportunity to grow academically and personally, and something I'll never forget.
Thanks, Niamh. Katrina?
I'd say it's just an experience well worth having.
Thanks, Katrina. And finally, last but certainly by no means least, Toya.
I would say it was demanding but very rewarding experience that allowed me to see another side of the planet.
Okay. So thank you again, Harry, Niamh, Katrina and Toya, and thank you for listening. Bye for now.